Hello and welcome back, future scientists. I'm Mr. K with Mississippi Public Broadcasting, and we're going to continue our unit today on Mendel and genetics, okay? What I really wanted to focus on today is just getting some practice in. This stuff can be kind of confusing, and the best way to learn it is just to try it out yourself and to practice it a little bit. So I have a little worksheet we're going to run through. Why don't y'all go ahead? A lot of this stuff is things we've already talked about, and we're just getting a little bit of practice today. So y'all take 10 or 15 minutes, go ahead and see what y'all can figure out about this worksheet. Then when you're ready, y'all can come back, unpause the video, and I'm going to review everything with y'all, okay? So take a couple minutes to work on this, and then when you're ready, come back to me, and we'll look at it together. All right, let's see what everybody came up with. So these first couple questions are sort of easy, but they'll continue to get harder as the worksheet goes on, and we're getting into those more complex things that we've been discussing. Number one here says circle the heterozygous genotypes. Okay, couple things I wanted to point out. Remember that when you see the word genotypes, you're talking about the alleles, so the letter combination. Okay, if something ever says phenotype, that's like what the thing actually looks like. And then that other term heterozygous, we should know by now that that prefix hetero means different. So what we want to do here is circle all the heterozygous genotypes. What we're going to do here is circle anything that has a capital and a lowercase letter. So that's capital and lowercase, capital and lowercase, capital and lowercase. Okay, so for this one, we've got 3 heterozygous genotypes. Great. Let's go to number 2. This says circle the individuals who would show the dominant trait. Okay, so to show the dominant trait, you only have to have one dominant allele. So we're going to circle everything that has at least one dominant allele. Here's a dominant allele. This one's got 1. This one's got 1. This one has 2. This one has 1. And this one has 2. So all of these individuals, whatever that dominant trait is, they would show it because they have at least one dominant allele. Okay, number 3 says circle the individuals who would show the recessive trait. Okay, so for this one, remember that if you want to show the recessive trait, both of your alleles have to be recessive. So what we're going to do here is circle everything that has 2 lowercase letters. So this one has 2 lowercase, this one has 2 lowercase, and this one has 2 lowercase. Those are the only ones that would show that recessive trait because you have to have 2 recessives in order to show it. Okay, here's number 4, circle the individuals who have a recessive allele. So this one's a little bit different. This is just saying if there's a recessive allele at all, circle it. Okay, and remember the recessive alleles are the lowercase ones. So this one has a recessive allele, this one has a recessive allele, this one has 1, this one has 2, this one has 2, this one has 1. Okay, so all of those have at least one recessive allele. Okay. Great, so let's scroll down and keep this going. All right, so number 5, this says, in pea plants, tallness is dominant over shortness. Cross a heterozygous tall plant with a short plant, okay? So let's draw our Punnett square, and we'll go ahead and get started on this, okay? Okay, so cross a heterozygous tall, that means they're going to have one capital T and one lowercase t with a short plant. If they're showing the recessive allele, that means they have 2 recessive. If they're showing the recessive trait, that means they have 2 recessive alleles. So that's the genotype of the other one. And then we just complete the cross. Okay. It wants to know what is the genotypic ratio. Okay, so for this one, genotypic ratio, I see it's 2 of these and 2 of these. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and write 2 and 2. If your teacher would prefer for you to, you know, just say 1 and 1, that's fine too. But I like to just say how many I actually see in the square. So we see 2 of the heterozygous and 2 of the homozygous recessive. Okay, and then what is the phenotypic ratio of the offspring? Well, we would have 2 tall and 2 short. Okay, great, so let's keep it going. Number 6 says in pea plants, yellow pea pods are dominant over green pea pods. Cross 2 heterozygous yellow pea pods. Okay, so 2 heterozygous yellow. Okay, let's draw our Punnett square. Okay, and because they're heterozygous yellow, that means they're going to have one capital Y and one lowercase y. Okay, so just like that, and then we're just going to complete the cross. Okay, what is the genotypic ratio? Well, as far as the genotypic ratio goes, here's one combination, here's another combination, and then this is the last combination. So this is actually 1. We would call this a 1 to 2 to 1 ratio. So 2 are like that, and then 1 is like this right here. Okay? And then what is the phenotypic ratio? Well, we would have, so notice that for this one, this says genotypic ratio, this is phenotypic ratio. They're not going to be the exact same, because what I need you all to remember is that both of these are going to show that yellow pea pod, okay? So this is going to be a little bit different. The phenotypic ratio is we actually have 3 yellow to 1 green, okay? Because only this individual shows that recessive trait, okay? Great, let's keep it going. So here's 7, a tall pea pod and a short pea pod are bred. In the offspring, some of the pea pods are short. What are the genotypes of the parents? Okay, so we know we have, this as a tall pea pod and a short pea pod. Okay, so we know what some of the gametes are here, but we don't know what all of them are. So let's draw the Punnett square and fill in what we know. We know that one parent is tall, okay? And so remember that for the tall and the short, we're using the letter T. Well, because this pea pod is tall, we know that they have at least one capital letter. We don't really know what that other one is just yet. Okay, this one, it says a short pea pod. The short is the recessive, and so that means that we know what their genotype is. They have to have 2 of the recessive allele. So it'll be something like this, okay? And it wants to know what are the genotypes of the parents if some of the pea pods are short in the offspring, okay? Well, let's fill in what we know. Okay, so right now, neither of these two are going to be short, right? Both of these are tall on the left. So what could we put here that would give us some short offspring? Well, it's got to be a lowercase t, right? So let's fill that in, right? And so now in some of the offspring, some of them are short. And so that means that this is the correct genotype for that parent. So this cross was really a heterozygous by a homozygous recessive. So that's the answer for number 7. Okay, let's keep it going. Here's 8. All right, in a certain type of fish, there are 2 alleles for color, red and white. The heterozygous individuals are pink, okay? And it says, what is the likely inheritance pattern, okay? Well, what I want y'all to know for this one, let's see what's going on here. So red and white, and then if you are heterozygous, you are pink. So would this be an incomplete dominance or a codominance? Well, remember the word I gave y'all, if you're mixing the colors, it's incomplete, right? And if you see both of the colors, it's codominant. Because we're mixing these, red and white come together to make pink, that means that the inheritance pattern here is the incomplete dominance, okay? Because red and white, when you get those together, if they blend, they make pink, so we're mixing them together, and that's going to be the incomplete dominant. Okay, it says cross a red fish with a pink fish. All right, so if you're red, you would have to be like this. And if you're pink, you have to be like this, okay? So let's fill in that Punnett square and see what we're getting. Alrighty, what is the genotypic ratio? Okay, so the genotypic ratio, we got 2 of those and 2 of those. Again, if your teacher prefers you to simplify these, that's fine. You can write this as one-to-one. But to me, I think it's just a little bit easier to follow. People are expecting there to be 4 boxes in the Punnett squares, so I think it's easier just to write it like this so there's no confusion. You can simplify it to one-to-one, but this is a fine way to write it as well. Okay? And then it is asking what is the phenotypic ratio. So for this one, we're going to have these two are going to be 2 red fish, and these are going to be 2 pink fish. So that would be the phenotypic ratio. Okay? Great job. All right, we're through the first half of it. Let's knock this back half off. Okay, so 9 says cross a pink fish with a white fish. Okay, so a pink fish would be like this, and the white fish would be like this. So let's cross those and see what we get. Okay, what is the genotypic ratio? Well, I see 2 of those and 2 of those. Okay, and then what is the phenotypic ratio? Well, these would be 2 pink, and these would be 2 white. Okay, great job. All right, so let's move on to 10. 10 says, in a certain type of chicken, there are 3 main feather color patterns, black, white, and black and white. It says, what is the likely inheritance pattern? Well, remember that what I told y'all is that if you mix the colors, it's incomplete. If you see both of them, it's codominance. And because here you can either be black, white, or black and white, that means that this likely inheritance pattern is most likely codominance. Okay, so let's go ahead and write codominance for this one. Alrighty, and then it says cross 2 black and white chickens. Okay, so we can really, it didn't tell us what letters to use here, so we can kind of use whatever we want to. I'm just going to use B and W. Okay, so 2 black and white chickens would be like this. Let's fill in the cross and see what we're getting. Okay, so what is the genotypic ratio? All right, well, here's one combination, here's another combination, here's another combination. So this is a 1 to 2 to 1 ratio. We got 1 like this, 2 like this, and 1 like, one that's 2 W's. Alrighty, and then it says what is the phenotypic ratio? Well, we would have 1 black, 2 black and white, and then we would have 1 white. Okay, so hopefully that's making sense. All right, let's do this next one, 11. It says cross a black chicken and a white chicken. What is the genotypic? What is the phenotypic? All right, so a black chicken would be like this, 2 B's. A white chicken would be 2 W's. Let's complete the cross and see what we're getting. All right, so what is the genotypic ratio? They're all this, and that means the phenotypic ratio is they're all going to be black and white. Alrighty, great. All right, so the last couple of questions here are dealing with blood types. The blood typing questions are super important for the state test. I know they can be confusing, but let's just make sure we're practicing on these, and that's going to clear up some of the confusion that we're having. All right, so 12 says, in humans, blood type is a result of multiple alleles. Examine the chart below. So we saw this chart last time. Just a couple things I want to point out. Notice that for type O blood, there's only 1 combination of alleles that leads to type O blood, and that's if you're totally recessive. There's 1 allele combination that leads to type AB blood, okay, and that's if you have both the type A and type B alleles. And then for the other 2, there's 2 combinations that lead to these. And so those are a little bit more tricky. You gotta keep your eye on those. Okay, so this says cross a homozygous type A with a heterozygous type B blood. All right, so the homozygous type A is going to be this one, right? Homo means the same, and so that means two alleles that are the same. The heterozygous type B blood is going to be this one. Okay, so let's cross those and see what we're getting. All right, what is the genotypic? What is the phenotypic ratio? So two of those, two of those. All righty, so and two of these. All right, and then so what's the phenotypic ratio? Well, we could have two type AB blood, and we have two that are type A blood. Okay, great work. All right, couple more of these. All right, so 13 says cross a type AB blood individual with a type O blood individual. All right. So if you're type AB blood, you're like this. If you're type O blood, you're like this. And then we just complete the cross. All right, so what is the geno and phenotypic ratios here? Well, we have two of these, heterozygous A, and we have two of these, heterozygous B. All right, what is the phenotypic ratio? Well, we have two that are type A and two that are type B. Okay, great work. All right, just two more here. So 14 says, a man has type O blood. His wife has type AB blood. Their child has type AB blood. Is the mother the father? Is the man the father of this child? Okay, so let's see what's going on here. We know that the man has type O blood and the woman has type AB blood. Let's cross those and see if we can generate this blood type. Okay, so draw the Punnett square. Here's the mother. Here's the father. And then let's cross them and see what happens. Okay, so here are our results, and you'll notice that none of them are type AB blood. And so that means that this child cannot be the child of this man, okay? So there's a couple of different things that could have happened here, you know, but the man is not the father, okay? Because with the combination of blood types that we have here, they could not generate a child with type AB blood, okay? And that's what these blood typings can be used for, is like to tell the, you know, who the parents are. So we're gonna write no for this one. All right, great. So I got the last one here for us. It says a child has type O blood, the mother has type A blood, the father has type B blood, okay? What is the genotype of the mother? What is the genotype of the father? Okay, so this is one of those where we know some information, but we don't have all the information that we need. Okay, and it wants us to figure out what the genotypes of the parents are. So here's what we know so far, okay? I'll put the father up top. So the dad has type B blood. We know that he has to have at least that allele, but we don't really know what goes there, okay? Same thing for the mother. We know that she has to have at least one of these because she has type A blood, but we don't really know what goes here, okay? And that's what we're trying to figure out, okay? So this is the only information that we are 100% sure of. It does say that a child has type O blood, okay? So let's fill in the information that we have so far and see if we can generate a child with type O blood, okay? Okay, so this one is not type O, This one is not going to be type O, and this one's not going to be type O. But this box might generate a child with type O blood. We have to figure out what could go here and what can go here to make this individual type O blood. Well, if we gave both of them that recessive allele, then we would generate a child with O blood. So that means that both the mother and father here are heterozygous. Okay? So the mother is like this, and the father is like this. If that was their genotypes, then they could make a child with type O blood. Okay? Y'all, thank you so much for following along with me today. I know this stuff can be kind of confusing. That's why I wanted to make sure I did some review with y'all. Your teacher has some other stuff for you to practice on, so make sure to give that your best effort, and I hope everybody has a great day.